What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 374 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
Yo!
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello!
This week, we're geeking out about cross-platform capabilities, rolling around at the speed of sound, and Netflix. I was waiting for you guys to just start jumping in.
Really wanted to. I resisted, though.
It's so hard.
They did so before, when we were getting the notes, I said it, and we all broke out. They all broke
very
out.
difficult for us.
It's true.
All right, we need to move on. We got places to go.
Follow my rainbow.
There we go. I knew.
I mean, you got at that point. Okay.
Okay. You gotta live and learn, I guess.
You know what? There's so many people that are not gonna have any idea what we're talking about.
That's great.
Be culture. They need to go play those games.
I guess you'll have to listen to the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
To learn more. We'll get into gaming.
You gotta open your heart.
Have not touched God of War. I've been playing Power World. I don't think I have anything else to add about Power World, except that it owns me now, and that is all my free time. Power World is.
So you're saying you're the one that's doing the farming now, and the pals are having you do the work?
Might as well be. I do a lot for those pals. I just built. So I only have two bases, and my first base I didn't like. It was ugly, and it was just production.
We've definitely changed bases like three or four times in my crew, so I feel that.
Then I had the iron base that was just getting me iron, and so I took that away to build a third base.
You were pumping iron?
Now I'm in the process of moving all of the old base stuff to the new base, and tomorrow, as we're recording this, but it's going to be a day late for everyone else, I will be probably building my iron base on Twitch.
Nice.
At twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace. Very excited about that. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. It's going to be on Tuesdays. I forgot that I should probably mention this, and this is the perfect time to do so. Tuesdays, 7 o'clock Central Time on our Twitch channel. We are going to be streaming again. We haven't streamed in a while. It is going to be that one day a week, so you don't have to try to get to a bunch of different streamers. On Tuesdays, it's going to be a different streamer every week, but it'll be a streamer, and then it'll be kind of like a co-host for the first half hour, and more of kind of a just chill and talk and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can't come watch the whole thing, at least come and chill for the first 20 minutes and just kind of
nice
Q&A time, question of the day. There's a Bible verse of the day. Just some fun conversation. It could be deep conversation. It's kind of whatever. It turns out to be whatever you, the viewer, want it to be. So I'm really, really excited about that, just because I think that we were kind of spreading ourselves thin, trying to do it every single day. Mm-hmm. And then also for a viewer, that spreads really thin to be expected to be there every single day. And so now, it's just on a Tuesday. Yeah. Just come hang out when you have some time to do so. Pretty stoked about it. But Iron Base is probably what we'll be doing. We'll see. I'll tell you guys next week.
Sounds like a base out of a Gundam show or something. Iron Base.
The Iron Base. Yeah. It's much needed, because I don't have any iron anymore, and when you don't have iron in that game, nothing can get done at a certain point. So, LJ, we'll move on to you. What games have you been playing?
Yeah, so I have still been playing Tekken. I pumped out that review in a week because I basically I'd seen most everything. I'd completed the story. The story gets you think Tekken's story is weird. I don't remember if I said this last time or if I had beat it yet. But it gets even weirder, which is that's crazy to say about Tekken. Tekken's already weird, but they go cosmic in craziness. So, I'm still having fun with it. I noticed the ranking systems are changed up. It doesn't feel as hard of a climb in the beginning because there were so many early ranks in Tekken 7. And it also kind of helps that it's not just me climbing easier because of the ranks. I definitely feel all of the things I learned in Tekken 7 have been translating to 8 in the best way possible. So it's I definitely feel I've put in the work to where I'm okay, yeah, I'm rising above these ranks pretty easily because I've already done this before once already. So, and there's much more of a wide player base. It is crossplay, which is cool. yeah, I'm still having fun with it. This is definitely my go-to game. Early look at my review, I'm giving it a 0.5 higher than Street Fighter. Feels crazy to say. Street Fighter, I feel like Street Fighter is still like a major cultural shift, and Tekken isn't. But I would say that Street Fighter did kind of have to sacrifice some of its like pedigree in the genre, because now you can like use those easier controls, and there's ways to like make it super. I mean, you still have to like have skill to obviously go up against like a really good player, but they just make things so accessible. But Tekken, what I like that Tekken does is you have these replay tools now where you can go back and watch old replays of fights you did online, and it'll show you 5 areas or like multiple areas in which you could have changed the outcome by doing something different. And you can actually take control of that spot and like change up what happens in that match. Like you can play against the computer and be like, okay, like what could I have done better in this match? You can also do the ghost battle thing, which kind of reminds me of like Amiibo in Smash, because you can like train your own ghost. Let's say you fight somebody online and you're like, oh, I don't think I'll ever get to fight them again, but I really want to. You can actually download their ghost and fight it again. I had this really good match against the Yoshimitsu that I like lost by the skin of my teeth. And I was like, ooh, I really want to fight that dude again, but like I'm just gonna download his ghost. And then the next day I went back and did that, so that was really cool. But like Tekken feels like it doesn't sacrifice much like Street Fighter does. They just really give you the tools to put in the work, and it's like I feel like because I have put in that work in past games and stuff too, it's like super rewarding. Which is I think how you should feel like in any competitive thing that you're getting into. And I'm a super casual, but it just feels good to be like, wow, like I did put in that work, and I'm seeing the results of it. Like
it's so sad. That's the most satisfying part of
like I'm still not a great player by any means. Like I'm still, but it's like I don't really care too much about the rank anyway. But it does still feel cool to be like, yeah, oh, like I put in the work. I learned how to play this, and Tekken 8 especially kind of levels the playing field. I think in a lot of ways too. So, yeah. So enough about that. The other game I played that I know has been the talk of controversy and stuff like that, and just like people having easy things to say about it. But I've been playing Suicide Squad, and it's again. Okay. It's not as bad as everybody has been saying. It's not a very great game, but it's definitely mid. It's definitely mid in a lot of ways. The story is really cool. The characters are cool. The gameplay is super fun. But there's just a lot of activities and a lot of things. Like I can tell, like a few hours in now, that I could see how it's gonna get really boring, and there's not a ton of like variety in the missions and like the enemy types you face, but it's still a super fun game. I think it's really neat. The interactions with the characters are great. So I think it's a solid, like to me it would be like a solid maybe 5 or 6 kind of game. But I'm kind of that person who like enjoys those games. Like I enjoyed Gotham Knights. This may be a better game than Gotham Knights. I also enjoyed Saints Row, which was not a good game either. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it was kind of cool because I caught up with my brother the other day, and I'm thinking like, oh, he's not going to waste money on this game probably. And then I get on Xbox and I see, oh, you're playing Suicide Squad. Cool. We hop on the PlayStation. I was like, yes. So like that was kind of neat. The same thing happened like because we're both suckers for like licensed games. Same thing happened with like the RoboCop game. I was like, I'm buying this, and then I get on, and then I was like, oh, so you're a sucker for this kind of thing too. So. Like that's why we're related. But so I got to play with him, and the online works pretty darn seamlessly. We had very little issues on it. So sweet. I think if you're a fan of like looter shooters like Borderlands and stuff like that, and just want to have a good time and shoot stuff, like I think it's a perfectly fine game. Really good sale game. You could probably pick it up for $30 and have a good time with it. So I'm probably gonna write a review for that one at some point too. But I'm still enjoying it. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Cool. What have you been playing, Shelley?
Persona 3 Reload, baby. Yeah. Oh, baby. Anyway,
we got a review copy of it.
Yeah, so that's what's really exciting is that this is going to be my second review. For Geeks Under Grace, and Baldur's Gate 3 was already out for quite a bit when I made my review. So, and this is like a brand new game, so that's really exciting. I really like it so far. It's great. It really is.
It's really good.
and I played Portable, which is a little bit different than FES, which is a little bit of an upgrade on top of the original Persona 3 game. You know, Persona 3 and Persona 3 FES, you can, like, roam around the place a lot. Like, just the different areas, like you do in other Persona games. But in Portable, you can't. It's more of a visual novel style, because it came out on the Portable, PlayStation Portable, right? That's why it's called
PSP,
Portable.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I love how
they
it's called
just...
P3P.
I know, it's perfect, but they had to really condense a lot of things down, which is why they kind of went with a more visual novel style. Plus, they added an entire new, you know, the female route, which is a little bit different, which is what I did. So playing now exclusively the male route, that's the only one that's available in Reload, is different. Like, different social links that I'm not used to, things like that, which is interesting. I was realizing, though, how it's interesting to play it from a perspective of someone who's already played this game and sort of played through the story, because, you know, I love the story, and I really liked Portable.
Watch them do a royal version of this where you get to do the female run.
Dude, that's what people are saying. They are on copium. They are coping so hard trying to say that there's going to be like a super extra fancy, you know, Electric Boogaloo Reload or something, which is not going to happen. So they actually already... Well, actually, I don't know if it was just incredibly reliable leaks or if it's official, but they're going to be bringing the answer, which is the basically epilogue part of Persona 3 FES that they added.
Ooh.
It's going to be added as DLC, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, are they going to add Femc? Are they going to add Femc? And no, they're not adding Femc, which is too bad, but people are crazy if they think that they're trying to make another new version of this game. Like, no, that's not going to happen. So it's interesting being able to, like, roam around these places that, you know, for the longest time I can only, like, touch, right? Or, like, so kind of roam around in that way.
You're already playing a downgraded version as it is.
So, yeah, and so I think some people are, like, disappointed that, like, places look a little bit different than they thought, or, like, oh, like, the dorms, they look kind of boring, and I'm like, maybe, but, like, the fact that, I don't know, I just feel like this whole thing is a privilege, because the fact that I can walk around these areas is, like, so new to me that I feel like I'm just, like, satisfied with just that. What's cool is that, like, they really did take, like, the dialogue, the things that happen, like, all to a T, basically. They probably have changed some of the dialogue, but, like, really not much. Like, there was a moment in which I remember, I was, like, talking to Mitsuru. There's this, like, just funny scene that I remember seeing a video of where, like, Mitsuru is one of the characters and she's complaining about how she doesn't get any rest, and how as you're talking to her, she's, like, drinking some tea and eating some cake, and the whole joke is that it's like, you're resting now, why are you saying you don't get any rest? And I got to experience that again in Reload, which was very fun. I recognized it. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's happening. So, and so far, all the changes I think are really cool. So they have a lot of the same stuff, obviously, but they added some more ways to spend your time, which I think was probably needed, because this is coming especially to people who only played 5, especially Royal, coming to Reload, where in Royal, I get overwhelmed with how many things you can do. You can do so many things with your time in that game. And 3, honestly, there's not a ton of things you could use. And honestly, I kind of preferred that. But I think this is a good balance. They added sort of this feature where you can do stuff on your computer in the evenings and sort of get stuff. So that's neat. Yeah, just more options there. And the combat system. So they changed and updated the combat system to be way more like it was in Persona 5, in Royal, where you kind of have this, like, it's not literally baton pass kind of being this idea where once you get the one more mechanic, which is pretty popular in all these games.
Like a team combo kind of thing. Yeah,
so they basically have that. It's called shifting, and maybe it will change. You know, it's just the beginning of the game. I've only really just introduced this concept. But right now, there's no, like, stat boosts, I don't think. Whereas the thing with Baton Pass is that it was always a stat boost, which was super satisfying when you could go, like, from one character to the next character to the next character, and then all of a sudden their, like, attack is way up. And they're just destroy the enemy, which is very satisfying. So I'm glad they brought at least a version of that. And again, maybe in the future they'll add some of the stat boosters. I have no clue. But that would be cool. But so far, yeah, and they also changed up shuffle time, and I'd have to check how shuffle time was in FES if it was different. But in Portable, I would get my eyes crossed every time I would grind, because what they do is shuffle time is that after fights, you know, especially if you do an all-out attack, they present you with like a collection of cards. They show you what the cards are, but then they turn them over and they shuffle them, and you kind of have to keep your eye on the one that you want and hope that you get the right one. It's not randomized, like you still can follow along, but like, man, the amount of times my eyes would just like go crazy because I'm like trying to follow these cards all around this tiny screen because I was playing on my Steam Deck. I was going crazy, and it was fine. Like, I like shuffle time, but I didn't really super enjoy that. I like it way better in Reload because you could just choose, and there's more variety in the cards. You know exactly what you're picking. You don't have to follow a card around like you're playing those stupid little shuffle games. You don't have to do that. And there's this cool mechanic called Arcana Burst where basically if cards in the Major Arcana show up, then you want to collect those, and if you get a certain number of them, you get something called an Arcana Burst where all of the cards going forward while you're in Tartarus, which is the place where you're doing all the fighting, gets a bonus. And I'm like, heck yeah, I'm a big fan of concepts that, you know, combat changes that make grinding better and like more fun, because I don't necessarily dislike grinding all the time, but there needs to be something that sort of keeps me going. And for me, like, I think Golden was perfect. I really loved how Golden's shuffle time worked, and now this is sort of taking a similar direction of like, you're getting long-term benefits from grinding instead of just like, oh, you get one reward from this one fight and this one, like, now you kind of have these benefits of like, oh, if I could get an Arcana Burst, then I could get all the cards can get better as I'm in Tartarus, and if all the cards are better, then maybe I can stack that, and then so I'm a big fan of that. And again, I haven't played much. Music's great. I'm getting used to the new voice actors. They're all really good. It's so funny because Akihiko, I loved him as Liam O'Brien. He was the original voice actor. And that's still what I'm used to, but Alejandro Saab is the new voice actor for him. And it's just so funny because I've talked on the show a lot about Horimiya and how much I love that show. He is Miyamura, who is the main male protagonist. So every time I hear Akihiko talking, I just hear Miyamura, which is really funny. But like totally, yeah, it's because they're just such different personalities. They're so different. But anyway, that's just kind of funny. But yeah, this is great. Definitely highly recommend it, even if you've never played a Persona game before. In fact, I've talked to some friends who have only played Royal. Game Pass. And it's on Game Pass, so like it's so low risk, guys. Like you could just really get into it.
They were handing out Xbox codes. They're like, oh yeah, we have Xbox codes, and then
of course they were.
When we got the PS5 one, I ended up grabbing the Xbox code because I'm like, this isn't going to be on Game Pass forever. So
no, it's not. I would definitely recommend trying it. I will say the beginning is slow. I remember even when I played Portable, the first 15 hours, which again, that was Portable 15 hours,
I played
so probably
the PS2
not so bad
version on my PS3 at one point. It does take a while to get going.
It takes a while to get going. You just really, you kind of just have to push through it. So it's mostly the story that takes a while to get going, and also like a lot of the concepts that kind of just like throw on you, and you kind of get used to it. You kind of get used to it. Then you get to a point where you feel like you're free, and you're like, oh, now I can make my own decisions, and like, no, you're still in the tutorial.
Original 5 was that way too, I'd say, though.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it takes a while, and I know I already have some friends who are like 5-6 hours in, who are like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna keep playing just because it's not grabbing me. Like, these characters aren't grabbing me, you know, whatever. And I'm like, that's fair. It makes me sad. But people keep comparing this game to Persona 5. It's not Persona 5. And thank goodness it's not Persona 5, because we need these games to stand on their own. But I really love Persona 3. I love the story. Love the characters. I love so much about it. And now they're fixing basically my biggest complaint of the original game, which was like the combat system. I wanted it to be a little bit better. And now it's really great. The animations are so pretty. This game has ray tracing for no reason.
That's cool.
As ray tracing, there's just like it's gorgeous. They made Tartarus look, and they designed it more interesting. You know, 5 has this cool palace thing going on where like all of the basically dungeons are totally thought out, big like long puzzles. Basically, they're not randomized at all. And what they did with here is, you know, Tartarus originally was random. Every floor gets randomized, and they do the same thing, but they kind of like made it way more. It's still randomized, but it feels less random. There's more architecture within Tartarus that looks interesting. There's like these little side rooms. They got these things going on, right? And I'm a big fan so far. Although it is kind of like, oh, this is the same game I just played. I'm okay with that though.
It's neat though that you just did, or else you wouldn't have that appreciation you do now.
But again, that's why it's like I'm kind of coming from perspective like I know what's going to happen, so I'm already really excited about it. But for if you've never played it before, I would just say like kind of get used to it. If you find yourself into the combat system, if you like the concept of like talking to friends and having the social link kind of thing, and like the fusing the personas, if that's all interesting to you, I would give it a really good shot, like more than just a couple of hours, because you really need to get your teeth sinking into it. Like the first couple of hours are just tutorial. Like they don't let you go for a while. So in fact, I would almost say if you're willing to go until the first boss, which is a couple hours, like quite a few hours in the game. I'm not even at the first boss yet. I know what the first boss is, the first story boss, but I would at least try to get through to that. And then if you really just don't like it after that, obviously don't play it. Don't waste your time. But I just really like it. That's all. I preach the good news of Persona 3 because it's just great. So that's me. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to keep doing. Nice. Rip Pal World. I didn't mean to ditch Pal World. It's just like I it's reload. I have to,
I know. So. I'm like, I play with my buddies like maybe once or twice a week now, but it's like I've definitely been onto other things. Like Tekken is my game, So
but it's not the worst because Pal World is still in early access. So if anything, if it takes some time for me to go back, realistically, if they've made any changes, they're going to be positive changes. So
it's not going anywhere for a very long time.
So. Exactly. So I'm not so worried. But anyway, that's what I've been doing.
Cool. We will get into the gaming news then. Go for it, LJ.
Yeah, so we did have that state of play this past week. There is a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth one coming, which is like, I think we've already heard so much about that game already. But yeah, so I'm going to kind of go over some of these highlights of I'm going to go through the list of some of these things we saw at the state of play. Dave the Diver is coming to PlayStation with a Godzilla crossover. The Godzilla.
I saw that. I'm like, what? Like, what is he doing here? What is he doing
it's so
here?
random, but so I guess this is going in alphabetical order. We saw Death Stranding 2 on the beach, and that's like the subtitle.
On the beach. So weird.
Looks so like again, it's like same thing I said about Tekken. Like Death Stranding was already weird. This looks like 5 times as weird.
Yeah,
it's nutty. Dragon's Dogma 2, Foam Stars, that's coming to PS Plus this week.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that game.
Helldivers 2, Judas, which is from the creator of BioShock. That looks nuts. Right. It looks like BioShock in space, which I guess is System Shock also. Or Judas looks crazy. That game looks awesome. Let's see. We got Rise of the Ronin, which I see the Warriors games when I look at that game. It's from Koei Tecmo, but I see the engine they're making it in, and it looks like just a really nice like Warriors game, like the Dynasty Warriors. Silent Hill stuff. Silent Hill 2 looks absolutely amazing. That's a legendary horror game for those who have not played it. They're remaking that. I'm a little bit partial to Sonic and Shadow Generations. It's Sonic Generations Remastered, but with Shadow levels.
Dude, yeah, let's go. Why? Okay. They named it that. Named it that.
Because of
that's so toxic.
Because of the movie.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, people are going to look up Sonic X Shadow and like, is the game going to come up? Or something else going to come up?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I love Shadow though, so I'm all about it. I love Shadow. Everybody who knows me I love Shadow.
That's a good point.
He's my favorite, but I'm so excited
like,
for Sonic 3.
I already have platforms that the original runs amazing on. Like, I can literally play Sonic Generations on my Steam Deck or my Xbox right now.
True.
But I'm like, I'm all about this because then my nephew plays Sonic Generations and he loves it. But I told him, I was like, dude, you can have this on your Switch now. He's like, really? I'm like, yes. So I was like, I'll let you know when it comes out. But I'm pumped for this.
I want a little chibi. Why don't we get a little Shadow?
Because there's no...
That would be so cool, though.
There's no little Shadow, but yeah,
old school Shadow.
That would be really cute, but
that would be kind of
He was introduced too late.
Look at the pictures right now.
So. He was, yeah. He was already had a new design. Another thing, Until Dawn is getting remade, which is like because that's why the Dark Pictures games exist. That is coming to PS5 and PC straight out. So I know some PC players who are excited for Until Dawn to finally come out. Let's see what else we got here. that's kind of the highlights, really. That's pretty much it. There's a free Silent Hill, like 2-hour Silent Hill game for people that are into the horror stuff. If you want to check that out. Yeah, nothing too like. There's definitely some exciting stuff in there, but I feel like it doesn't have like the widespread appeal that like most of these showcases try to have. But some good looking stuff here. So yeah, I recommend maybe checking through that if you haven't watched it already. There's some stuff to be looking forward to. The next thing I do want to talk about, I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it or not, but it's been all I've been like scrolling through in passing at work today. There have been some leaks and rumors that Xbox is supposedly going to shift gears, basically. We don't know if any of this is true. I usually don't like to report on rumors and leaks, but it's kind of big. There were rumors circulating of games like Hi-Fi Rush and stuff like that, and like older Xbox games coming to consoles. But now games like Starfield and Indiana Jones are getting thrown in there into this leak. That's been leaked by like The Verge and like big outlets like that. So it basically suggests that games like Starfield and Indiana Jones and some of the other ones, older Xbox games, are actually going to end up on maybe other platforms like PlayStation.
You say other platforms, and I just kind of like there are no other platforms. There's just PlayStation.
Well, see, there's rumors of stuff Nintendo. Like there's rumors of stuff like Hi-Fi Rush and maybe Sea of Thieves coming to Switch.
That'd be cool.
I think those would like fit really well.
Hi-Fi Rush, especially, I think would be easy. Like,
Sega, now is your time to make a console.
I've been tempted. So the joke is that Xbox is going to end up like Sega, and they're just going to get away from making consoles in general.
Yeah.
But like I've been tempted to. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like games like Hi-Fi Rush and stuff like that. Like that one in particular, I could totally see that being a real good Switch game. Like that would do gangbusters on Switch.
Like for me, hearing this, it doesn't seem like news to me. I remember a couple years ago, Xbox saying, what's his name, Spencer?
Yeah, Phil Spencer.
Yeah, him saying that he kind of like this was kind of his vision. From what I remember, was that the games could be played anywhere, but Xbox was going to be the best place to play those games. Couldn't get that out. And so I would assume that would continue being the model, is like just release these games, no longer have exclusive, maybe timed exclusives, but you let them out on everything else. And then your Xbox console is still like the best place to play because they have the strongest console. Yeah. I would be really surprised if they don't continue making just the heaviest hitting console out there. What's really surprising to me, and maybe not a lot of listeners realize this, but like when they sell a console, they don't really make a lot of money if they make any money on consoles. There have been certain consoles that have actually like lost money because the plan
pouring one out for Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast.
Oh
my gosh, yeah.
Like the plan is to sell so much software that the money makes up for it, and so it's logical to say, okay, well, if our money is in the software, then why don't we just get the software out to as many consoles as possible? My curiosity will be, will PlayStation play nice? Do they want these Xbox games? Or are they going to be like, no, we're good, because that kind of cancels them out of the market, especially if Xbox were to decide not to make a console. So there's a lot of there's intricacies to what's going on here that we'll have to see, because it's not just up to Xbox to say, hey, we're going to give out these games on all consoles now. Yeah, PlayStation would have to okay that. And PlayStation is not known to play nice to the other consoles yet. Nintendo and Xbox seem to be friends, and that's been really cool. Yeah. But I would love to get to play some Halo on my PS5 controller, because PS5 controller is elite.
You can plug in your PS5 controller to your computer and play Halo that way.
I do. I'm playing Power World on Xbox Game Pass
with a PlayStation controller.
With a PlayStation controller. That's a couple workarounds. It wasn't immediate, but
but no, like I wonder if it'll even be like stuff like Halo or Gears of War, because I could see like maybe those Bethesda games being the ones that, like, it's ironic because it's like you bought the studios anyway and decided you wanted to port them to your console only, so now you're walking that back. Right. So it's like, are you like, so it's like they own Activision and Blizzard now and all that stuff too, so it's like, okay, I'm waiting to see what actually happens with this, because
why would you limit those sales to one console if you have the chance to.
Yeah, because like I'm seeing games like Halo that the whole Master Chief Collection is like $10 on Steam right now, and I'm like, ooh, I could try playing those on my Steam Deck. Like
yeah.
So I think like it just the thing I was gonna mention too is like you mentioned the Xbox like play anywhere kind of thing. I bought a Samsung TV a few months ago, and there's literally an app on there that's the Xbox Cloud Gaming. So technically, I'm gonna say technically in air quotes, I don't have to even own my Xbox anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you can't cloud everything.
But
and you don't want to cloud
everything. It's true, but I'm just like, that's so wild. That's like, it's weird. Like, it's not far off. Like, so crazy.
Right. I'm really excited for cloud gaming. I haven't tried my new fiber internet. It might be even better.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I want to check that out.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Cool.
It's just wild.
My thing for cloud gaming for me, it's really good for RPGs.
I'm not a cloud.
Slow pace.
I need it to run natively on hardware. Not in full 4K and 120 frames per second.
And cloud gaming does not work for precision.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just crazy to think about. Like if Xbox really wants to go that way, they can.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
They may realize that they are losing the console war, I guess. Like they still got good games I want to see come out, like Avowed and Fable and stuff like that, but it's like, are they going to stop trying after that? So we'll see.
I can't imagine them not making a console at all. I think they make some big elite console that like nobody actually can afford. And they're like, you can play on that, but we don't need you to.
Like Apple? With their virtual, like with their new headset.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be very Apple of them. I didn't think about that.
$2,000, like, well, yeah. Anyway,
I've always thought it's kind of funny that Xbox befriended Nintendo, who has the weakest of the consoles. And they're like, we have the strongest console, and then we have
the little brother. Yeah.
Although, can I say, I don't know if that's accurate anymore. I know Xbox One, but the new Xbox, it's the One X, right? That's actually not as strong as PS5, if I'm correct.
Well, the Series X and stuff like that, like because the Xbox, there's those half steps that came out, but the Series consoles are, you have the Series S and then the Series X. The Series X is the one that's supposed to be like competing with PS5. The Series S is the one that's like a little bit underpowered. It's an upscaled 4K. I don't remember.
I think the PS5 was stronger than the Series X.
Dang.
But when the Xbox One X came out, it was
stronger than the PS4.
Destroying PS4.
PS4 Pro, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't even say that anymore. The Xbox
it's crazy. It's wild to think about. Yeah.
Anymore, I can't tell the difference. The graphics, they're so close. It's all so similar.
Yeah, it's like all the hardware is really like, even the controllers, if you think about it, because I understand if you play Switch more, but it's like, in hindsight, if you think about it, an Xbox controller is the same as a PlayStation controller. The sticks are moved, but the buttons are all still mapped the same.
So I want my PlayStation controller. Graphically, I'm not telling a difference between your HDR and their HDR. And how fast the loading screen is. It's
I don't care.
Milliseconds difference, and I'm like,
so much.
I don't care. I own everything. It doesn't matter to me.
That's fair.
I'm just
consoles just make me feel bad about my PC, because PC Master Race is a fun term until you realize that not your PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PC Master Race, as long as you're willing to always upgrade every 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I've had mine since 2017, and it has not failed me yet. Knock on wood. Fake wood, I guess.
I turned that Power World onto max settings, and it was like, am I a joke to you?
I have to play in windowed mode. Yeah, I have to play on low settings to play Power World. Or else it just chunks too bad. I'm like, okay. I get it.
Yeah. But,
especially you start flying around, and it's like, you want me to load what?
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm like, okay. Thanks.
Got it. Alright. We could move on.
Yeah, let's move on then.
We'll get into the movies. I don't think I saw any movies. So, we will, let's go to Shelley.
Yeah. I watched a couple movies, actually. So I watched Groundhog Day. On Groundhog Day!
That's hilarious.
Of course I did. I'd never seen it before. And my husband, we were watching, when we watched, back when we were watching Christmas movies. Around Christmas time, we watched the 12 Dates of Christmas. And it has a similar thing where it's like, this girl keeps reliving the same day over and over. And, it's Groundhog Day, but it was the 12 dates. So she only had 12 loops or whatever. And my husband's like, man, Groundhog Day is just this movie, but so much better. Like, they just took Groundhog Day and made it worse. They made it Christmassy. We should just watch that movie. I'm like, Daniel, we're watching Christmas movies. We're not going to watch Groundhog Day movies. Like, yeah, but it's a winter movie. I'm like, it's like, can we watch it, like, not during Christmas time, though? Because it's specifically about a not Christmas holiday. So anyway, we watched it on Groundhog Day, and he was pretty excited.
Sidebar real quick. Did the groundhog see his shadow?
It's spring. Spring's coming. He didn't see it.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy? I feel like the last, 3 years he's been, winter. So, Poxitani.
Shining lights on him to make sure that he can't see.
I usually see the results of that somewhere on the internet, but I totally missed that this year.
I had heard that spring's coming early, which is great. I love that from a groundhog.
I won't be old and talk about the weather, but I thought we have a harsher winter than we've had.
No, it's fine, but
we can move on.
No, it's a good movie for sure. I get why so many people like it. It's good. It's fun. It's Bill Murray. I don't know. It's a good movie. It's not literally the best thing ever, but yeah, I'm glad I watched it, and I definitely think it is.
Bill Murray is the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved how he really is just cynical and trying to make fun of people the whole time. It just kind of turns into he kind of just makes fun of himself. They kind of first he makes fun of other people, then he kind of makes fun of himself, and then he kind of learns to actually be nice and yeah, good character development, and also the fact that. Yeah, dude, he was stuck in a time loop for so long, and then, how did that happen? We don't talk about it. Which maybe is for the best. It probably is for the best. It's never good to explain those things, but yeah, definitely a good movie. If you haven't seen it, yeah, go watch it. I think it's one of those, I probably don't need to watch it again, but I'm glad I watched it. Now, another movie that I will always rewatch over and over, constantly, is Prince of Egypt. Gosh. It's so good. Every time I see it, it's every once in a while, I just get a hankering to watch Prince of Egypt, and it never disappoints. It is so good. And that one's required, guys. If you haven't seen Prince of Egypt, you have to. Good. You have. It is DreamWorks' best movie. By far. I don't care about How to Train Your Dragon. I don't care about Kung Fu Panda. This is better than those. Actually, I do really like How to Train Your Dragon. I'm just saying, it's better. It's better.
Did you know the animators that didn't hit their deadlines were punished by going to have to work on Shrek?
Shrek is so good, though.
That's crazy.
That
checks out.
I love Shrek. And it's better than Shrek. If it's better than Shrek, it's saying something, right? Oh, gosh. From every level. There are just certain shots, the cinematography. I feel like people don't think about cinematography when it comes to animated movies. But it's so good. They really choreograph these shots. They're beautifully animated. The music, all of them, all the songs are bangers. It's about Moses. It's so good. I'm just every time I watch it, I'm like, man, back when animation was about something real, back when DreamWorks was about something, back when
that other Joseph movie that they did wishes it was as good as Prince of Egypt.
I know. It's kind of unfortunate that they I remember seeing that one, and I'm like, I just don't like it nearly as much. And maybe it's fine on its own. It's just when you're comparing to Prince of Egypt, everything pales in comparison. It pales. Oh, yeah. It's everything's so bad. It's just, oh man. I love Prince of Egypt. I'll just gush on it all day, but I'm just telling y'all, there's no reason to not watch it. Especially if you're a Christian. Watch it. That's all.
I just fact-checked that, and it is true.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I was like, this is one of those things that I say is fact.
Yeah, but you don't actually know. Right? But now you thought, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I love Shrek, though. So good. I don't know, man. It just makes me miss 2D animation, and not just 2D animation for the sake of 2D animation. It's just again, I'm so every part of it is so handcrafted, and I had nightmares about this movie when I was a kid, but it's totally worth it. Just the scenes where they're talking about the babies getting thrown to the crocodiles. Of course that would give me nightmares, but oh my gosh, it made me feel something. Kids shows these days, kids movies, I'm gonna go on a slight tangent, they're way too safe. You kind of need a little bit of trauma in your media to get through to you. Mm-hmm. And man, did that get through to me. And man, am I grateful for it. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. These shows, these movies, they used to mean something. I don't mean anything anymore. It's all about a buck. Anyway, that's all.
It makes me think of Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo.
Similar.
Just breaks your heart.
Totally. Yeah. It's pretty harsh right at the beginning there.
That movie, punches you like multiple times throughout. Like it
Gosh,
just
yeah, Finding Nemo. You're right. That's kind of on a similar level where it's like
kind of like the last big one that I remember where they were just like,
that movie cold cocks you a couple times.
Boom, yeah, it kind of just gets you. Totally. Yeah.
Yep. That movie's still tough to watch sometimes.
And also, I just forget. Sorry, one more thing. It's just Prince of Egypt's cast is crazy. Like,
yes,
it just has everybody, and it's
got the cast of a Ghibli movie.
Literally, it does. Right? Like, it just has it's crazy. Like, I keep hearing
Val
like
Kilmer.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. Yeah,
and Michelle Pfeiffer's
Sandra
in
Bullock.
it. Sandra Bullock's in it.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Patrick Stewart's
the Pharaoh.
Yep.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's all.
Fun.
That's my advertisement.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, watch it. LJ, what movies have you been watching?
I watched Underdogs this weekend. It's a movie starring Snoop Dogg that came to Amazon Prime.
Let's go.
On Friday.
Okay.
So it's really it's kind of neat because Snoop, he has a history of working with youth football players and stuff like that. Like the movie is literally inspired by the fact that he started a youth football league like in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this movie, it's funny. These kids, I mean, it's foul, right? These kids are foul-mouthed, little but I feel like that's accurate. Growing up in bad parts of Southern California, you're gonna have kids that are gonna talk like that and stuff like that. It's a comedy. It's funny. Snoop Dogg does a pretty decent job at acting. He's not in a lot of things, and he does a lot of cameos in a lot of things, but he plays this football star who's fallen from fame, and kind of wants it back, and gets an opportunity to coach a youth football team, and it's got a really good message. It's a really good message, and I think that's the important part of it. Sure, they do have some funny parts, kids getting into trouble and stuff like that, and basically capping on each other and like calling each other names and stuff. It's all in good fun, and it's just about Snoop Dogg's character finding ways for these kids to understand like how to play the game of football and like things that help them. That's about the most I could say. I mean, I guess I could say about it though. It's MA. It's like there's it's vulgar. Yeah. So there's a big like red big warning label on that one. But it was good though. It's super wholesome. It's funny. The actress that plays in the Sonic movies, she's in it. So she's pretty good in this too. I mean, she's been in a bunch of other things, but I'm like, oh wait, I was like, she's in the Sonic movies, and then I was like, yeah, I think Tika Sumpter is her name, I think. But yeah, I feel like everybody does a really good job in that movie. Mike Epps is in it too. He's super funny. I actually met him on a plane once when I moved to Louisiana. That was super cool. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's if you're and I guess like because I know the background of like the reason that movie got made, so I was like, oh yeah, it's really special, and I'm sure it's a movie he enjoyed making. And I don't know what the stakes were, if that was supposed to come to theaters or not, but I feel like it's a perfectly fine streaming movie. It was fun. It was a good time. So yeah, it was worth a watch. It made me laugh, but I'm definitely. It felt good to watch a movie again this weekend because it's like I know the last couple weeks none of us really watched anything, and I was like, so it just felt good to turn my brain off for that couple hours, and I'm like, I'm already thinking about what I want to watch this coming week. So yeah, that's what I watched.
Before we get into the movies, I was like, I didn't play any video games. I played a whole bunch of video games.
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I keep doing this, guys.
Fool, we're in the wrong section.
Arcade.
Oh yeah.
I know. We're gonna insert. I'm probably gonna do this at the end of the podcast, but
it's fine.
No one's listening at that point.
It's fine.
I went to an arcade in Northwest Arkansas. If you're in the area, definitely check out Arcadia. And it is massive. It like all old school, probably nothing older than like 95 for these arcade games. He had about 150 cabinets. There was like a whole downstairs and everything. For $5 a person, and then so it's $5 per person, and then you get like it's like a push a button and it gives you a coin, so you can play like the same game forever. And that was cool in its own right because you can
That's
actually
legit.
beat some of those games if they're like more kind of, I don't want to say serial based or.
But those games were such coin, like.
Yeah, they were coin hogs. So
yeah, they ate your coins. Like that's what they were built to do.
That was the point of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you just hit a button and kind of just keep playing,
yep,
they're pretty neat. And so even cooler, the guy that owns it is absolutely amazing. He is cash only, and so we went in and we're like, "I'm sorry, we need to go. Like, we've never done never done this before, so we didn't find an ATM." And he was just like, "Guys, it's your first time. Come on in."
Aww.
It's $5, and I was like, "That's so cool."
That's cool.
But no, absolutely loved it. There were it was Paperboy. There was Tron. Never played the original Tron before.
Paperboy's legit. That's an old one.
I love Paperboy. Get to play some Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, I love Crazy Taxi.
Gotta love Crazy Taxi.
Hey, come on down to Crazy Taxi.
My wife is apparently really good at fighting games, and so I lost at Mortal Kombat and lost at Street Fighter.
Dang. I need to teach you
OGs.
I need to teach you some moves so you can beat her next time.
Yeah, I guess. They didn't have Sub-Zero in the Mortal Kombat. I was kind of mad.
That must have been Mortal Kombat 2, I think.
I think it was older than that. I think it came out after 2 because it was kind of like a collection. It looked like.
Oh, Mortal Kombat trilogy, probably.
It had 4 missing characters in the middle, and I was like, "About Sub-Zero's in those 4."
Interesting.
Can't remember, but the one thing that was really cool, even though I don't know how to play it at all, I got to see Dragon's Lair.
That game is legit.
I never thought that I'd actually see that in real life, and so to catch that was really
I would
cool.
geek out over that because the ports. So I've played. There's like a PlayStation port. I have the port on Steam. Like I own that game in multiple places, but like I've not had the chance to check out the actual arcade version. That's super cool.
I might try to check it out, on Steam or something, because for those who don't know what Dragon's Lair is, it's not Dragon Slayer, it's Dragon's Lair.
You could beat that game like really fast on the ports.
Oh, cool. I would assume so. So you have like these 3-second clips. They might even be shorter than that, and they are like Disney style animation. But this is like an old 80s movie.
Don Bluth, the animator of An American Tail and multiple other movies from back in the day, is responsible for that game.
Totally makes sense.
Yep.
And so you have these 3-second clips, and then you have a sword button, and you have a move button, like not a move button, but a joystick. And so you have to move a certain direction or hit the button in the right mode. And it's kind of like there's a bit of a point and click, but it's like a fast-paced point and click adventure thing. So
the idea is in the direction that the object highlights. Like, so you know how like there's an object that flashes really fast?
No? Okay, that makes sense.
That's the direction you have to push to move the stick. Is
the joystick.
Yes. Okay. So like I think of like there's this like water part where he falls into a boat. Every time like that part of the like river flashes or like the signs, you have to push up, and then he goes whoop, and then goes to the next one. Yeah. So it's like so there's different
Like I said, I had no idea.
Cody's like, I'm going back tomorrow, and I'm playing.
Yeah, it's like an hour away from me. And then even worse, the guy was like, "You guys, I live in Fort Smith, Arkansas," and he goes, "You guys have an arcade down there. Why don't you just go there?"
Because it's not
and I was like, "Oh, I had no idea that it existed. Thanks for letting me know. I'm glad I drove an hour up here to go."
Yeah,
that's so cool.
But
perfect.
It does sound like. I mean, I would doubt that the guy down here has Dragon's Lair, or many of the other games. I mean, this place was really, really neat. Just his collection is so vast.
Yes, the pictures I was like, nice.
Yeah, that was a fraction of what they had. I mean, that place was.
I was like, I could
really
live
cool in the way back. He's got like couches set up with these old 2 TVs, and they're all like era appropriate. So in the NES, it's like this old wooden box TV.
Oh, cool.
And then and then kind of like the big plastic ones for GameCube or for Nintendo 64. I mean,
that's
and
legit.
then like couches, right? So you feel like you're in your living room in the 90s or the 2000s.
That's cool.
It was pretty neat. So Arcadia, that was my little tangent
Nice.
Off the rails. Back on track. Movie news.
Movie news.
We're all over the place today.
That's fine.
What's going on?
We have some...
movie news.
Huh?
Go ahead. No, I was going to say that was the theme before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
That's true.
We've been kind of all over the place. It's fine. We actually have some pretty cool, exciting movie news. Like, I'm pretty hyped about everything that we're going to talk about. So, first of all, The Beekeeper has done poorly enough in theaters that The Chosen has actually beat it out, which is it's funny, but it's also like pretty cool. So if you don't know, The Chosen actually is a show, so it's almost kind of like show news. But the fact is, they're showing season 4 in theaters, in some theaters, not all theaters.
I bet that stings for The Beekeeper.
Yeah. I think Argyle's number 1 right now, but either way, yeah, Beekeeper dropped to number 3, and I think The Chosen is number like 2 or something.
Wow.
Which is pretty.
It's so crazy.
It's
That's
cool,
pretty
right?
awesome.
Like, this is a show we talk about.
Yeah.
And obviously,
for those who don't know, The Chosen is about Jesus.
Yeah. So it basically tells the story of Jesus, you know.
Yeah, it's like a historical.
You mean
fiction,
it's not about
probably
choosing
call
your
it.
starter Pokemon?
No.
Yeah, it's not.
That'd be pretty
It's like a historical fiction. They add a lot to it, but
it's all very
it
still
is
respectful to the Gospels.
Yeah.
right?
It's funny.
Yeah.
But not like in a blasphemy way. Like it's just
It's
genuinely
really it
well
just seems
made.
like really well made, and it's very respectful. That's what it's like, with intention
Nice.
of like glorifying rather than
right.
than tearing down.
Yeah,
right.
it's
So
definitely Christian made. But
it's high quality.
it's,
All the
yeah,
actors are really good. Like, they're all just really good at
Mhm.
acting. And
the writing is pretty
the writing's
crazy.
really good.
It's-
The design, yeah, it's a good show. But
it deserves to beat up Beekeeper.
basically, Beekeeper doesn't even look good. I mean, sorry if anyone's seen Beekeeper and likes it. I guess let us know. But like, it just
Weirdly
doesn't
enough,
look
I heard
good.
it actually is, because I was like, what
Oh.
even is that? That sounds dumb. And then I've actually heard a really decent movie.
Okay. But I just
Take-
think it's so neat. I think it's neat.
Take that for what you will with the Jason Statham movie. But yes, I think
True.
it is cool too that The Chosen was like top dog for a while.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's really neat, and yeah, it's just kind of a cool little bit of news there. The other exciting thing that we could talk about is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. I know we were just talking about
Yes.
Sonic, we were just talking about Shadow, and Shadow, we already know Shadow's
Yeah.
going to be in 3. That's actually been confirmed for a long time, but we're getting more casting.
Yeah.
So Jim Carrey is returning as Dr. Robotnik, which maybe you're like,
so
oh,
hyped.
like, you're like, oh, of course he would. We're just like, yeah, of course he would, but at the same time, like, he's been retired. Like, he doesn't really do anything.
It was a big deal that he wasn't gonna come back though. Like, I
Yeah.
remember it being a big news article.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like a Miyazaki thing, right? It was like he's out of retirement to do this movie.
He's retiring, but he's coming back for this, and I'm like, it seems like he has fun with it, and I love that for him. And the creators have already said, like,
maybe it's that he's retiring from acting, and he doesn't really have to act.
right.
And Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
just
He's
has to
just,
play
he's
around.
him.
I've heard he has a lot of fun doing like that role. So
Yeah, and I
If
mean,
Sonic
if they
is the
still
only
give him a
movie
ton of money,
he's
that
in.
just helps too. But I think the creators even said, I think that they wouldn't recast him. Like, they if Jim Carrey wouldn't come back, then they would just get rid of Dr. Robotnik. They'd be done with him, which I fully respect. I'm a big fan of that. Like, leave it
it's
to
kind of
him.
difficult.
It's hard. I mean, there are other Sonic villains that they could have dived into. It's just Robotnik is the most iconic and he's the most fun, and I'm really glad Jim Carrey's back for it. We still don't know who's going to be. We know other actors who are going to be in the movie. We know that Kristen Ritter from Jessica Jones is going to be in it. We know Cristo Fernandez from Ted Lasso is going to be in it. We also have James Wolk, Alila Brown. So sorry, Jorma Tacone and Sophia Pernas. So we have we don't really know who's what though, and I think there's a lot of speculation right now for, just like how there was speculation for who's Knuckles gonna be, and they end up being Idris Elba, which is very, very good. I think there's a lot of
It was so perfect.
people are like,
That
oh,
was
who's
great.
going to be
Unequivocally
Shadow?
perfect.
And I keep seeing all these funny little rumors, and I don't even know if it's rumors, speculation, or just people wanting this of like Hayden Christensen gonna be Shadow. I think it'd just
That
be
would be
so
great.
funny. I would love
So
that.
perfect.
It would be perfect, but who knows?
You can hear his laugh. I would assume that'd be Shadow's laugh at the end of that little teaser.
Mm-hmm.
The logo reveal?
I think so.
The logo looks like Sonic Adventure 2. And
it's
I love
awesome.
It.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's so
but like the laugh doesn't sound like Hayden Christensen.
I want Keanu Reeves to do Shadow.
I think that would have been perfect. Could work.
I think there's a lot of good choices.
I thought what would happen would be Jason Momoa, and I don't remember why I thought that, but I was like, that makes sense.
I could see that being an article somewhere.
Yeah, that could all work. Yeah. And then, of course, just, even for the actress we already have, people have been like wondering, like, is Kristen Ritter gonna be Rouge the Bat, or is she gonna be? Because obviously they can have a bunch of human characters, but that's like not really the fun of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, you already have kind of your established human characters. I think that makes it fun.
And they just really break her out of her shell.
That would be cool. Yeah, let's see Amy. Let's see Amy. Let's see Rouge. Let's see freaking.
Because that's a character that she can't play live action, right? Something like super fun and bubbly. It would just be weird to see that actress.
For sure.
Play a bubbly character.
Totally. But I think, I don't know. This is a movie I'm excited about. And Sonic, they know their fan base, right? And we know that there's going to be like Crush 40 songs are going to be in this movie.
So good.
So good. And obviously, it's not going to be the best movie ever, and I don't think anyone's expecting that. I think it's just like the first two movies were so fun and just like really awesome for Sonic fans, and I think the third one's just going to be the same. And y'all know me, Shadow's my favorite, so I'm really excited about this. Yeah, it's just going to be a really awesome, fun time. And then you already have Knuckles and Tails, so they're going to have like their whole thing, and then you're going to have Shadow and maybe Rouge and
Sonic still too.
Maybe Omega. That'd be crazy, or
I'm sure they
won't,
but could you imagine if they just recreated City Escape?
That would be so cool.
As the opening sequence for this movie.
They will. You can't not. You can't not.
That'd be so hype.
You can't.
That would be amazing.
You can absolutely not. Like, you can't not do that. Like
just as the opening of the movie.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, they also
you see the jumping out of an airplane.
You see the Paramount logo, like real quiet, do its little thing, and then you hear that beat drop, and you'd be like, "I will jump out. I will like stand up in the movie theater if they bust out with that song."
I'd be
right away.
I'm getting emotional just thinking.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like.
I was gonna say, I think the other person they're speculating is Maria. I think one of the actresses. If I'm trying to remember who, it's definitely not the ones from Jessica Jones, but there's some other actress who they think are. People are saying is definitely going to be Maria, which obviously, if you know Shadow the Hedgehog, Maria is a very important character to Shadow, right?
Maria,
it's like this girl he like protects. So that'd be cool. It's one of those cheesy little blockbuster movies that I'm actually excited
I'll start
about.
clapping as soon as the movie starts. Like,
it's just cheesy stuff.
I'm interested in that too. You brought up like how cheesy.
Yeah,
the last two movies were so cheesy.
Yeah, but
in a
Shadow's
fun way.
Story is actually pretty like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still cheesy.
It's still cheesy,
but it's kind of dark.
Yeah.
True.
And
then
like,
Shadow the Hedgehog gets even worse.
Yeah. I guess not dark. Edgy is the way to put it. Yeah. So I'm like, are they gonna go with like that whole thing gets kind of crazy towards the end of that game.
It does.
Maybe we'll get some Grandpa Robotnik going.
Yeah, Gerald.
It is. As I think about it, I'm like, no, it's still cheesy. It just, I can't see it fitting with the movies that they've made so far, and that would be really interesting if they take this really serious plot point.
I don't know.
From it all.
It'd be interesting.
Anyway,
I can't. Imagine they'll just completely take Shadow or Sonic Adventure 2 and make it a movie. You almost could.
I think they could take inspiration, but I don't think they're gonna literally take it.
I hope not. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if you can do like the space station stuff. That might be a little extreme.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I mean, like with like Knuckles, like there was still like Master Emerald stuff. So
I had a whole underwater thing going on, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I would hope it's inspiration. I hope they don't just rip it.
Yeah, I have hope.
Except for City Escape. Yep. Just make the whole opening 15 minutes of that movie.
The dumbest like Easter egg and my most favorite Easter egg in the second one is whenever he like sucks in the bubble, like when he's underwater.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. I was like,
it was so good.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah, that's what I'm like. They could go to space.
They could. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they did, but yeah, I don't know.
Man, why don't we just get the Shadow the Hedgehog voice to voice it?
That would be perfect too. Like that's what they did for Tails. I'm on board. That's all I'm saying. I'm on board.
That's a perfectly good idea.
Please.
Like, he doesn't have to have a lot of emotion. That was the whole Shadow thing.
That's his whole thing.
You don't need, like, some, like, crazy, like...
the memes to come out of this.
Actor.
Oh,
they need to have some edgy version of, like, all of me or whatever, like, when he first appears or something. Like,
Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay. We'll get into TV.
We could talk forever about.
I know, seriously.
Yes. TV. LJ, you started watching Vox Machina?
Yes, I got back into it. I gave it another chance.
For those who knew, maybe not. We talked about this last week, but it's very rated MA.
Yeah.
A lot of nudity in the first few episodes. And I would say the whole first season's pretty vulgar. The second season lightens up a little bit. Still rated MA. Don't just cut to it hoping for the best. LJ, you said it was too much at first. What are you thinking?
Well, I just feel like they go so hard on like that first like scene. Like I'm just like, okay. Like I feel like the introduction to those characters, like sure I know in every D&D thing, you know, you have your introduction, you know, like in things like that, the way you introduce your character or whatever. And that was perfectly that for that first episode. But I feel like now that I'm a few episodes in, like I'm starting to actually get to know these characters more and like see their value aside from like that whole first, like what feels like a pilot or like a pitch, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm enjoying it. And it also makes me realize, I guess now that I've played more D&D too, and I'm like, yeah, my party's totally like this. Like they would do stupid stuff like this. Like, you know, so it's just one of those things. And then, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely like heavy as we've always talked about, but yeah, like I'm like, okay, cool. Like now that I'm starting to get into like the meat of like the story and the characters and stuff like that, I'm like, it is still over the top, but I feel like I'm like, okay, there's actually an objective here. There's actually a story you're wanting to tell. So
there's character development. It's really cool.
Like they get into Percy's stuff right away, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm like, he's got a really cool like backstory and things like that. Like he gets pretty dark there, you know, and I'm like, okay, he's my favorite character so far only because I'm like, ooh, I know his story now, like, you know, like,
yeah.
Which is something
I would say the show's very much for people who play Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how much someone who doesn't play D&D would like appreciate everything that's going on because a lot of it is like you can see the roles and the spells being done.
Yeah.
And I would imagine the show's just not as good without realizing like, why are they fumbling with the door for half an episode?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there's definitely things that some characters do where I'm like, oh yeah, you straight up critted on that one. You know, like,
yeah.
And it's not even that obvious, but just as a player, you know, like, I really like the way they do character development too so far, is because like that's what my buddy, like I don't know if my buddy's actually even watched Vox Machina, but the way he's trying to do like this sci-fi western apocalyptic thing that I'm playing, he's trying to find ways to interweave all of our character stories within each session.
Yeah,
like sure we've had like a filler a session or two here and there, but dude tries his best to make sure like everybody's getting some attention with their characters, and he's giving us decisions to make and stuff like that. But it's like he's been finding a way to put that focus on everybody.
That's cool.
You know, so I'm like, okay, like I see that within Vox Machina too, because I'm like, okay, cool, I'm getting some of Percy's, but when am I gonna get like, you know, but eventually I'm gonna start getting other characters too. So it's like,
it's neat.
I like this.
As a DM, what I usually do is I have a main focus character that'll be different every session, and then I usually have a secondary character, a party of 4, so it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
A second character that'll get kind of a nod, that'll kind of be a hook for the next session, hopefully.
Yeah.
As long as I'll take to it, and then the other 2 kind of get on the back burner for that one, but they'll all like kind of get their own limelights.
Yeah. Or it's like my buddy will be like, hey, like you have some time to
in.
talk, or you have some time to like connect or whatever. Like, what do you want to do? You know, or like, you know, yeah, so just I guess the fact that I've played more D&D makes me appreciate Vox Machina more.
Totally.
Yeah, I will say this because I'm finding a way to just talk about it anyway, because I was gonna put D&D in other, but I literally lost sleep over a session we had last night because like I kept like finding myself dreaming about it or like subconsciously thinking about it. But we literally lost a party member last night. Like dude was dead because we got stuck in this mine, and he's like, oh, I want to fight this really tough monster, and my buddy's like, you do not want to do this, and everybody else was like, come on, let's get out of here.
You don't want to do this.
Yeah, everybody else told him, like, come on, dude, like, let's go. And he was like, you know, he tries to be the wild card and does funny stuff in, like, anything we play. So he's like, oh, I'm going to try this. And we almost made it out. And my buddy's like, you got one more chance. And then he and he missed his chance. So we literally had a character die last night, and I'm just like, ooh, I don't think I ever felt that.
It's
like, legit.
It's rough. I've cried over one of my characters dying. I've had a couple characters die, and it's like usually
it was a subconscious thing last night because it happened before bed.
Yeah,
so I went to. I lost sleep last night because of that, and it feels weird to say.
It's
when the DM says, "Are you sure you
yes.
want to cast
Are you
fireballs?"
sure
you need to,
yes. Like I even we have this little chat feature because we've been streaming this on Comics in the Cross. And so we have this little point redemption reward where I even gave him guidance for one of his roles, and it totally flubbed. And I'm like, oh, like I even tried to help you, like come on, like. Oh, but anyway, that's why I love Vox Machina is because like I'm seeing those parallels now too. Mm-hmm. To tie it all back in, and so it's just like I'm really interested now to see that these characters are worth more than just this initial like bar fight scene they put at the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
so sure. That's how I'm feeling about Vox Machina.
Matt Mercer has a very cool revival concept, kind of house rule, homebrew rule.
Huh.
And so we have not had to instill it, but we plan to. Hopefully not. No one listens. We plan to if that ever comes up. And so there's been a few times where we've gotten close calls to death. My wife, she co-DMs with me. It's a really cool thing to get to do. And so she'll kind of look at me, and I'm like, no, they're dying. Like if that's what they're rolled, that's what they're doing.
Dude, that's
I was like, they've got the 3 saving throws to do. Yeah. If they fail that, we still have one more like kind of fail safe behind that. I was like, more than enough. They got themselves into this mess. They can.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, at that point they're gone. Then they just need to be gone for the sake of the story.
Yeah, and it sucks because that character dying last night shakes up everything that my buddy had planned. So he's like, "Okay, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do because this was supposed to be your chapter."
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, that was a bad time to mess around. But anyway,
this is my twin brother. He has the same stats as I do.
Yeah, but it's just the character development, like that I've been experiencing in my own games. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of seeing this show kind of take that approach too.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Yeah.
The other show that I have been watching, because I've continued to watch Vox Machina too, is Delicious in Dungeon. We saw it was front and center on Netflix the other day, and so we checked out the trailer. The trailer was hilarious. And so then we the other night got the greasiest Lao mein in town, and
that sounds good.
Yeah, it was so good. Some garlic beef, some white rice, and we watched this show, which is so for reasons they have to go down into the darkest part of this dungeon, really lower levels. They're an adventure party. I'm coming to find out that you can revive, which is weird. That was like kind of just mentioned really nonchalantly through the whole show. That like, well, the first time I died, this happened, and it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But basically, they're terrible at adventure. They got really far down. They lost everything, and so they need to go back down basically to retrieve everything. And I'm trying to be very vague with the details. They don't have enough money to get food, and you need food to go down to the dungeon or you'd starve to death because that's how life works. And so they decide that they are going to instead of buy food at the top, they will just cook all of the monsters on the way down to the dungeon. And the main character is extremely excited about it. It's very weird. The other characters find him weird for it. He's like, they're like, this is disgusting that you are so into this mushroom monster thing. They find this other guy that is just an amazing dungeon monster chef for no reason.
That's cool.
And what's really cool about it too is like they'll make something and then it'll make like a broth or something, and so they use that broth in their next creation as they're almost kind of building and evolving their dishes as well.
That's kind of cool.
But it's also like a Japanese cooking show or cooking anime, and so all the food looks amazing. Definitely order some like greasy food before watching it, because you will be hungry if you just watch it. And you can't have any of it because it's all made up stuff. They eat like a mushroom monster and like a scorpion that's basically just lobster, and all these other weird, random, like non-existent.
But I'm sure, like when they actually show you the plate, it probably looks like amazing.
It looks so good. It's a weird thing. Japanese like anime, food in Japanese anime always looks amazing.
Japanese
food
is so good.
So
that's part of it. But you're right. A lot of anime does such a good job romanticizing certain things that a lot of like, especially Western, I think cartoons and things don't. And so I feel like that's also part of like why anime is like, it really reflects like this food looks so good because like for us Westerners, it's just like, I don't know, maybe this is totally wrong, but just my interpretation is like us Westerners are just like, oh, food is food and we just use it for fuel. But like there it's like, no, this is like a creation and this is like something really well crafted, right? I don't know. That's at least the vibe I always get from watching like the ramen and Ponyo and stuff like that, right? Where I'm just like, oh my god.
That would make a lot of sense. I've always been told if I ever visit Japan, you never say like no onions in something. If you don't like onions and there's onions in that dish,
you eat it the way they make it and you're gonna like it.
Because it's their art, and so you're telling them to get rid of a piece of their art.
Mm-hmm. Wow, yeah.
But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Crazy. I agree, they look beautiful, and I just get hungry.
Yeah. So it's called Delicious in Dungeon. I will say this: it says it's rated MA, and for nudity, and I think cursing was with the other one. And I haven't seen any nudity yet. I'm actually really surprised that there's any in it. There's a very weird crotch shot of a dwarf in a kilt and like his underwear showing. But I assume that's coming at some point. I'm on episode 5 now. It's coming out serially, so it'll come out Thursday. Will be the next episode.
What is this on?
Netflix.
I thought you said that. So they're only doing it once a week for.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's weird.
But I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's a mature show yet, so I guess maybe it'll take just a twist and turn soon. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully I'm not recommending something that ends up being terrible, but for the most part, it's just been really goofy. So weird. Shelley, how has Percy Jackson been? Have you finished it?
Yeah, it's done, I think. I mean, nice. The last episode felt very definitively like an end, so if there's another episode...
I think it is done, because a friend of mine just said he finished it, too, so I think it might be done.
Yeah, it's a good show. Yes. I wanted to keep going. I want to keep watching it. Like, I liked it a lot. It definitely captures that similar feeling of, like, watching Harry Potter for the first time, in the sense of, like, there's this cool new world that you're not really in tune to. There's these kids who like don't really know each other at first, but then kind of like through trials and tribulations, and like the main character is special for some reason. It kind of hits all those notes for me, which feels very nostalgic. Even though I never read Percy Jackson, but my husband did read Percy Jackson. It was just really fun the whole time to watch him like kind of geek out and kind of like explain things. Anytime I had a question, he'd be like, well, to see the book explained it because of this and that. Like, I'd be like, freaking, why are the Greek gods in America? That doesn't make any sense. It's just like, well, actually, the book explains that they're always in the highest power in the world, and, you know, modern day, that's America. Stuff like that.
Wow.
And he's like, and I'm like, okay, why are they all dyslexic? He's like, yeah, well, because they're all half god, so they're used to reading ancient Greek, so they're all dyslexic. And I'm just like, that's so cool. Like, I just think that's such a fun idea. And that's, I mean, all that's from the book, obviously. It's not really explicitly stated in the show, but I think that's really fun. So I think watching it with my husband specifically really enhanced the experience for me. I think if I had just watched on my own, I would have been like, yeah, it's fine. But I think just watching it someone who read the books and, like, again, was able to just sort of humor my questions made it a lot more fun. But yeah, I mean, if you read the books, definitely probably recommend checking out. But it's by far and leagues better than the movie, which I do remember watching, and there were only a couple things in the show where I'm like, oh, I remember this in the movie. It was Medusa showing up, and it was the casino. Those are things I remember from the movie, and I don't remember anything else. And obviously they handled the
movie very well at all.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to watch the show, but I have a small interest in it. I guess he only has a couple minutes, but Lance Riddick is in the end. I don't know if it's kind of a spoiler, but it's got to be one of the last things that he's filmed.
Yeah,
and I have a lot of
it was good.
Really fun fact: one of his last voice roles was an indie Hellboy game.
What?
I'm sorry, I'll just repeat that.
One of his last voice recording roles was he voiced Hellboy in an indie game.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Naturally,
really
he's perfect.
Weird.
I feel like.
but yeah.
I mean, it's...
It was Hellboy. I can't see that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway. So, like, Percy Jackson and, like, that weird... Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I liked it. And I don't know, as genuinely awful as it can be for child actors to get locked into something like this, I know there's ethical questions behind it. They're all just so good, and I like the chemistry with them, and the development they'll kind of have together throughout the show. And I want to see more of them, and I want to see them kind of growing up. Kind of again, I do kind of relate to Harry Potter because I never read Percy Jackson. It's kind of the closest thing I can relate it to. That feels very similar to that. And it just does kind of make me want to keep watching it, and again see kind of these characters grow up. And but the good news is that even if it gets canceled for some reason, because who knows, good shows all the time get canceled for no reason. I know that they have, well, one, there's obviously the books, but I don't know if I really want to read the books. I don't know if I really want to be the books. I don't know how well they age in terms of like an adult.
That show did numbers for Disney Plus, so
they got it right. And they do they end it off really nicely, but they definitely do kind of set up for like, oh yeah, like, and it's so funny because when my husband was telling me, it really is kind of like inverse Harry Potter, because in Harry Potter, plot happens during the school year, right? And then summers, they totally skip. And that happens in the books too. They just skip the summers basically, or sometimes the very beginning of the book features part of the summer because, and like Harry's birthday and things like that. And then it kind of goes into the school year. And the school year is when sort of the meat of all the plot and sort of stuff happens. Whereas in Percy Jackson, it's the opposite because they all still go to school. They go back to camp in the summer. And so I just think that's so funny how it's really like the inverse of like they go through a whole school year and then they come back in the summer. But again, like just the like aging up a year, they kind of get older together. I'm a fan of that. And I was a fan of that in Stranger Things as well. I was a fan of that. I don't know. So I want to see more. I just, it's not literally the best show ever, but I enjoyed it. I had fun. So makes me interested in the series, I guess, is the biggest takeaway. So that's a dub for them. And Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it, which I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of weird. Like, why are you here, brother? You're not even singing. You're not songwriting. Why are you here? I don't know. He must have some... I mean, I know he's close with Disney, so that's probably why. He's like, oh, I want to be in the movie, the show. It's just weird. It was like a jump scare. Seeing him, it was like a jump scare. I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? Lin-Manuel Miranda's jump scare. Anyway, that's all.
That's funny.
That's all.
Awesome. We will get into the TV news then. We look at one thing. We're talking about Netflix today. And there are so many little tiny seconds of first looks that we got. Squid Game, Season 2. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Stoked about that. For those who don't know what Squid Game is, we're talking a lot about mature shows in this.
We do.
On this podcast. We're adults. It happens. But it's a... How would you explain Squid Games? They play childhood games
for money because they're all terribly in debt.
It's like,
and it's a game where they take the most desperate people who need money for
like
various
game show,
reasons.
But you actually die.
Yeah, and they make a game show where it's like if you win, you get an egregious amount of money, but the games are deadly, and people have they make it a point where it's like, well, you could leave, but the point is that they're so desperate they'd rather die trying to get this money if they go back to their regular lives. Yeah. So it's a really good show. It's all about greed. Big old commentary, and then they made it an actual show.
Yep.
It's just like literally just like,
and then people actually got hurt.
Yeah, and I'm like, you guys don't know how to. It is the most baffling thing to me. I'm like,
that's why I've never watched that, like Squid Game the challenge.
I can't
because it almost feels wrong.
It is wrong. Yeah, like,
it's
literally
made a show about a thing that should not
the original
exist.
Squid Game.
It's so bad.
Continuation. I'm really excited for.
I'm excited. That was a good show.
In Korean.
Yes, it is.
Korean. Yeah. Well, I mean, I watched the dub. Yeah.
I watched that in subtitles. Look at me go.
Yeah, I did subbed. It's a good show.
The dub has a voice actor I know from a couple video games, so I was like, yeah, I'm down with this.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
For live action, I like to do the subtitles. I learned that with Barbarian, I think. That may have come after. I can't remember. Barbarians is German, but usually the emotion of an actor comes out a little bit better. In the
that makes sense.
With an anime, they're both acting, so it's kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
But I've noticed with live action, the original actors are usually pouring their heart out, and the other person's getting kind of a paycheck for dubbing something over.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Bridgerton, which is I don't know.
Bridgerton. It's like
Bridgerton.
A period piece,
It's
kind of
Victorian era, probably.
Yeah.
And then they do really cool covers of pop songs in
really weird
symphony music.
It's
it's
kind of weird.
It's like
show.
Hamilton, but like a show.
Yeah, I really don't know how to put it. I was really excited about it. And then
It's got some contemporary vibes to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this modern telling, but with like old school settings. And you know what Bridgerton is. Rebel Moon Part 2, which is Star Wars by Zack Snyder. And I really enjoyed Rebel Moon. A lot of people didn't.
See, I should watch it just to say I watched it for myself because I've not heard good things.
Yeah, so my thing with Rebel Moon, and we brought this up in the last when I watched it, but it's not a great movie. It is better than anything Star Wars has made besides Andor and Rogue One in a long time. I think that especially the sequel series, if you pit that up against Rebel Moon and look at the budgets, like Rebel Moon is way better.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. Mm-hmm. Like not having watched like Rebel Moon yet, I could see that. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so it's not a perfect movie by any means, but like it was better than Star Wars, which is what it's very clearly copying.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for Part 2, and I've heard that Part 2 is supposed to kind of even deviate a little bit further and be more in Zack Snyder's world. Another cool thing with it is, if you look at Star Wars, it's very like Nazi Germany in a lot of ways about stuff. Mm-hmm. This takes more of a Roman Empire feel, and so you feel a little bit Dune-ish in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, you very much feel the Roman Empire, like in their bad guy military in their empire. Umbrella Academy, which watching that 3-minute clip, I don't actually remember seeing Umbrella Academy, but love Umbrella Academy. Beverly Hill Cops, Axel F, which all I know is that Beverly Hill Cops is a movie series starring Eddie Murphy, and that's about it.
Yep. It's like an 80s
but I'm sure
one.
Some people are excited. And then not even in the list on the tweet is Cobra Kai. We got Cobra Kai season 6.
Yeah, let's go, Cobra Kai, baby! Excited. Let's go.
And I'm honest, I care about that most.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
That's what made me click on this, and that was the headline from, I think it was Screen Rant. We have the actual tweet in our show notes. But Screen Rant was like, first look at Cobra Kai season 6. And I was like, that's all I want, is this like 2-second clip of Johnny in a tournament.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm here for it. And all of that is in that thing is coming out this year too, so.
Yes.
Crazy. All right.
All 2024. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, lots going on. Oh, and there's some show called Atlas, or a movie maybe. Jennifer Lopez. That'd be cool too. Yeah. That's the TV news. Quite a bit in that little thing. I was like, it's only one news story, but I got a lot out of that.
It's kind of like how I do the showcases for games a lot of the times, where I'll just go over things. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in a little 3-minute. I'm sure it's not this Sunday, right?
What?
No, yeah. The Super Bowl will be this coming Sunday.
Oh, so. Baby, it's the Super Bowl. Super Bowls.
Lots of news coming out of that, I'm sure.
I need the 49ers to lose. I don't care if the Chiefs win. I need the 49ers to lose.
Aren't watching live, which is everyone. He's got Kansas City hat on.
I got everything. Yeah, I'm ready to roll.
I don't watch a lot of football, so I don't know who Taylor Swift is, but I heard he can run really fast.
That's Devontae Swift on the Eagles.
Oh my gosh.
That is a joke that I definitely stole, and I need to say that I stole that because it was very much.
I'm okay with Kansas City being the new Patriots. Like the Kansas City's the new villains, and I'm here for it. Whatever.
Kansas City is Kansas City. They've been the villains. I'm a Broncos fan. For those
That's true. That's true. In your eyes, yeah, they've always.
Yeah.
But it's like they've been to the Super Bowl the last 4 out of 5 years, so it's like everybody's sick of seeing them now, and I'm like, let's go.
You can be a listener to the podcast as long as you're not an Oakland Raiders fan. So,
I can get behind that one. Yes.
I'm just kidding. You could listen. Second rate sense.
It's like like twice out of the year where we talk about like sports.
I know.
Football.
I know.
Yeah.
When we start fantasy football and then when the Super Bowl happens.
Yes, the 2 times.
Shelley, you should be a Broncos fan because we have Russell Wilson. I mean,
he betrayed us.
Very much letting us down, but
no.
My favorite driver.
I don't hate the Broncos. I'm actually very neutral.
Starting up again.
Yeah, I'm very neutral towards Broncos. I hate the 49ers and I hate the Patriots. Okay, that's all and obviously the Seahawks. Yeah. It's just everyone else I don't really care about.
As long as we all don't like the Patriots, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chiefs are fine to me. I just need 49ers to lose. Get them out of here.
I'm mostly joking to the Raiders fans. My thing is, I lived in Denver, Colorado, and when the Broncos versus the Raiders would play at the sports bar that I worked at when I was 18, there would be more Raiders fans in that bar than there were Broncos fans. I was like,
What's going on?
So I'm gonna have you picture this, Cody. Where I lived at in Southern California, I was stuck in between Raiders fans and Cowboys fans, and the only reason I was stuck in between the Cowboys is because there's a neighborhood, the diehard gang neighborhood full of Cowboys fans. So it's like 2 of the worst.
That's a weird one too.
But it's still like 2 of the worst fandoms in the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done.
The Cowboys would be a weird one. So that's okay. We can move on.
Yeah, I'm done.
Go. Who did play at 49ers? Go 49ers.
No. No. Are you kidding me?
No matter who. It doesn't matter who's playing. If you really don't care about it, use that Sunday night to socialize. Like,
I was gonna say, don't be like us. Stop caring about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people
go to church. That's what you should do at Super Bowl Sunday.
That's in the morning. You can go to church and still watch the Super Bowl.
Like, you should go to Ash Wednesday on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. This podcast needs to end. LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at LJ the Paladin. Yeah, we need to hit
Shelley.
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
You can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.